Hi, my name's Michael Shigela, owner here at Rank Harvest, and today I'm going to show you how to do a quick on-page SEO audit of any website. Now, please be aware this is not a thorough audit. We could literally spend days doing a deep dive into the on-page and technical on-page. This is just a quick audit meant to give a snapshot of a website's on-page health that really anybody can learn to do. The tool I'm going to use for this audit is called Screaming Frog. It's kind of a funny name, but it's a very powerful tool. It's a web crawler. What it does is it crawls websites kind of like Google does. It starts at the homepage and sort of crawls through all the links of the website, finds all the pages, and gathers up various bits of important information. So I'm going to share my screen here in just a moment, and we're going to jump in. When you first open Screaming Frog, this is what you're going to see. Now, I have a paid version of Screaming Frog, but Screaming Frog is available as a free version with sort of limited functionality. But for most business owners, that free version is enough to do an audit of their own site. The paid version is more for SEO professionals. So let me go ahead, put in my website, and let it do its crawl. So this first screen here is pretty technical and probably not useful for most people. See, when a crawler crawls a website, it's not just crawling sort of the human-facing HTML pages of the site. It's also crawling JavaScript files, style sheets, images, things like that. Those are included in the screen. Too much information, in my opinion. So I'm going to move on to this Page Titles tab, which now brings us to a list of sort of public-facing or human-facing pages on the website. The next thing I'm going to do is sort by indexability. The reason I do that is I want to count how many indexable pages of content are on the website that I'm auditing. Now, don't be alarmed if your website has pages marked for no index, especially if you're using WordPress. It's perfectly fine to have no index pages. WordPress will do that automatically for you. A lot of times, it's things like you may have two URLs that point to the same page, in which case you only want one of those URLs indexed into Google, and you want Google to sort of ignore the other version. Or for example, in this case, here's a page called My Account. This is a place for Rank Harvest customers to log in to their customer portal. There's no reason to have that included in search, so we've marked it as no index. So currently this website is 25 pages of indexable content. The reason why I'm counting the total number of pages here is that larger websites tend to outrank smaller websites. And the reason is easy. It's that if Google is going to send search traffic to a website, it wants the confidence to know that that website is going to have whatever information that visitor is seeking. And the easiest way to do that is to have a large website full of pages of information on everything about you and your industry. Something else to look at on this page is this page lists meta titles. So we're going to talk briefly about what exactly a meta title is. When you do a search in Google, these large font links, Google does not invent that text. It actually goes into that web page and grabs whatever the site owner put into their meta title and displays it here. Same thing for meta description underneath. The reason this is important to SEO is the closer your meta title matches to what the visitor is searching, the more likely it is that you're going to rank high for that keyword. Now, there's 1,000 other factors that go into ranking a website. That is one of them. And the same is true, but to a lesser extent for meta description. Not as important, but still does need to be there. You can also do things like kind of gauge the length of your meta titles. You can do things like go back into search results and kind of see about what's the longest I can write a meta title before I run out of space or before Google cuts it off and puts the 3 dots, also known as ellipsis. You don't want to go over that amount if you can avoid it. So I've got a couple meta titles here that are maybe a little too long, and I may go in and rework them. I'm also going to take a glance and just kind of ask myself, do my meta titles match what a visitor would be searching Google for? Now I'm clicking to the meta description tab. For the most part, as long as your meta descriptions are just filled in, you're pretty good. You can go in and really optimize these, but again, they're not as important as the meta title. Next tab I look at is H1. So let me explain this a bit. So in search results, what you're looking at is the meta title. But once I click into the website, the meta title is no longer visitable. It's in the code. What you're now looking at is the main title for the page, and that should be an H1. You're allowed to have one H1 and only one H1 on each page. And similar to the meta title, the closer your H1 matches what a visitor is searching, the easier it is for Google to rank you highly for that. So again, I'll just kind of scan down the H1. If you've got a second instance of an H1, again, you can't do that. You need to get that removed or at least change to a different tag. So, I'll come down here and see, my account. That's not a useful H1 because no one is searching my account. In this case, it doesn't really matter because it's marked as no index, but that's just kind of an example. Here's one that's good: metaverse and NFT SEO. I mean, that's almost probably exactly what someone's going to be searching Google for if they're looking for SEO for anything metaverse and NFT related. Maybe they'll ask, metaverse and NFT SEO agency, or only metaverse SEO, or only NFT. But this is probably about as accurate as we can get for that. So I'm happy with that. H2s is a second level title or a subtitle. Also, a place where Google is going to be coming in and looking for keywords. So you don't want to miss this opportunity. If you don't have any H2s on your pages, go back in and add them, and you don't have to over optimize. Just make sure that some of the keywords you want that page ranked for are present in your H2s. Now, there's additional tabs in here, but they get very complicated very quickly and can be difficult for someone who's not a SEO professional to really make sense out of. But these few steps that I've showed you right here will give you a pretty good snapshot of a website's on-page SEO health. There may be a lot of other factors, but these are some of the main ones. And time after time, when we see a website that just nails it on these first few things that I've mentioned here, generally speaking, the rest of their site is in good health. If I see them failing on some of these metrics, that's just always an indication that there's a lot of work to do here. So I hope you found this valuable. You can do a quick on-page SEO audit of almost any website in the internet in under 5 minutes using this method, using a free version of a very powerful tool. And I hope you found this valuable. Thank you.